guys came to watch some INnoVation, you're in the right place. He's playing up against ByuL to start our second match of the night. And ByuL, he's got a lot on his plate right now. He wants to make the money. He's sitting here at 0-6, and he's got a big opponent ahead of him.
I feel like he even looks a little bit sad in that portrait, too. I think he's about
looking
to look
longingly at the playoffs.
Yeah. Wave goodbye, ByuL. Goodbye, playoffs. No, but to be fair, INnoVation, a very, very strong player. Didn't look that way last week, but of course coming off of a dominating GSL versus the world first place victory, I think it's a little bit hard to not call him the best player in the world right now. And you can just see our Facebook poll results right there. Probably about accurate. Lots and lots of INnoVation fans out there. And for ByuL, he was a hipster up-and-coming Zerg this time last year, maybe 6 months ago. But it has been a while since these guys have even faced off against each other. In fact, I think the last time they played, it was SSL Season 1 premiere. And did not look very good there. I think it was a 2-1 victory for INnoVation, and it might just be a 2-0 tonight, especially if it goes along with yours and Wolf's predictions. Yeah,
I think the matches that they played, the series that they played in Season 1 was at least close enough to say, hey, ByuL put up a fight, right? INnoVation, he ended up winning the whole thing, 4-0ing Solar in the end. He was the big favorite. It's hard to win against this guy, honestly. But this time, we're just hoping that ByuL can do something similar, right? That he can put up a big fight against this Terran player.
Well, to be fair, INnoVations versus Protoss has struggled a little bit this season. And of course, I think that's because he's been busy. Oh, wait, just winning every other tournament.
Busy taking a nap.
Look at his preparation right there. He's visualizing success currently. It's like, which build am I going to do? He's figuring it out right now, guys.
Will it be 2 barracks or 3 barracks proxy?
Watch him fall over onto the keyboard and instantly hit 600 APM. That's how it works, guys. The meditation before the domination of INnoVation. That's what we're about to witness here.
That was nice. I like that. I feel like he actually was visualizing. You know, he didn't look all too tired.
He looks unimpressed every time he wins a tournament, so for just a regular day-to-day game, he's even that much less effort. He wants to keep it close. He's gonna turn into maybe 2.5 Punch Man just for to give it a little bit of more of a chance here to ByuL. For ByuL, he has yet to win a series in SSL Premier. He has struggled a lot. Most of his games have been 1-2 losses, so it's not like he can't find wins. He just can't find 2 of them.
Yeah,
3 series.
It's definitely very sad. The one match where he did lose 0-2, it was against Solar.
Yeah.
In a ZVZ. Every other match was against Protoss Terran. We had one dark match as well.
To be fair, Solar did kind of meme him in those matches, so let's not count that against him. And I will say that, like I said, he's gotten close many times. It's very likely that he picks up 1-2 losses, but that's still a loss. And so looking for a long shot against INnoVation, who has now opened his eyes, gaze in wonder.
He yawned, actually. I was wrong. I think he actually is a bit tired.
He's doing the TY strat.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's just too late. It's 8 p.m. I don't wake up at this time. Either way, guys, we got game number 1, INnoVation versus ByuL, a TVZ. Fly, better fly. Jin Air. Game number 1 on Abyssal Reef. We'll start down in the bottom right. The blue Terran player, it is INnoVation.
His opponent, our Zerg player, who brought all 20 of his Facebook-like friends down to the studio to cheer for him. This is ByuL. All right, so an uphill battle. I feel like that's kind of the story coming into this, but let's talk a little bit about ZVT lately. ByuL was the guy that we saw last week pull out the sickest memes I have ever seen. He was the guy that did the Swarm Host Nidus play. Am I incorrect in that?
I think you're correct. I would agree with you.
Well, either way, regardless of what racial discrepancies there are, what's player mismatches, the skill levels, whatever. If he does things half that innovative today, well, I think we'll have to call him the actual innovator here. INnoVation, like you were saying, not actually very innovative in a lot of different situations. Let's see.
He's from Poland.
Oh my God! Shout out to the Net Wars guys. If you are a part of the Polish StarCraft community, Net Wars is probably where you get your StarCraft action from. Big fan of those guys. Of course, thanks for coming down to the studio. You'll see what the play is here. Only one barracks. What heinous sorcery is this? Why are there not two more being
built?
Everything
looks so normal. The last time when INnoVation played up against Alive, he was okay, I'm just going to make a bunch of barracks and kill you. And it's funny that he doesn't come out here against ByuL and say, hey, I'm going to make a bunch of barracks and kill you, because ByuL has an even worse record. But it might have something to do with the matchup. Maybe he's got something else in mind. A good push, perhaps, at the third base. Definitely very INnoVation-esque.
INnoVation is just trying to figure out how he can go 3 Stargate Oracles. I don't think that's possible.
Yeah. See a race switch.
If anybody could do it, that's who would bring it out. I don't think players are allowed to race switch in SSL.
3 Starport Banshee. That's the
With
play.
Speed.
With speed, of course.
That's how you do it. Hiding the drone just to make sure the Reaper does not come in and kill it off. A few Zerglings out. How many Zerglings does that Reaper kill? Looks like I think we're at 1. Might be getting 2.
We'll never know.
No, indeed, we will not. There we go.
Make that 1.
Yeah, where's the second?
You were just a little bit ahead, Rabbit. That's okay.
I was
There's
ahead of the
2.
game. All right, so already 50 minerals worth of value on that Reaper. He's going to come over, scout the third base, go back in for some more. Maybe.
Queen's going to poke him out. Looks like he wants to go Hellions on the back of this.
Pretty classic opener. Going to see the same build that we saw from Alive in game number 1. Going for that double Hellion opener. I don't know if we're necessarily going to see mech transition after this, but just content to go for 1-1-1 to open up all of his options. See which way he wants to go. The Reaper running in and running right back out again.
He is making a tech lab over in his base. We'll see. Okay, that is right next to the starport. Yeah. He has it rallied and ready to go. So we will be seeing Banshees as the follow-up. I don't think it's going to be 3 starport Banshee. That would be a little bit too memey. But actually, it is going to be a Raven to start. So no Banshee, no Cloak, no any shenanigans like that. Going to play it a little bit more standard, more safe.
So I feel like if you go Banshees right now, you want to get in there and get some harassment. But instead of that, for INnoVation, I feel like this is the more long-term benefit. If you run Banshees in, they're going to take a lot of damage. Maybe you have to come back and repair them. If you just go Ravens and let them build up energy, not only do they still have value as the game progresses, but they don't sacrifice their own hit points when they go in. They just throw in an auto turret and leave. So definitely a very thought-out transition, and with a third base to come out behind this, ByuL has yet to make it out on the map to get a whole lot done. In fact, his scouting has even been a little bit lackluster as well, so I'm not even sure he fully knows what's coming his way. Or not coming his way. And right as I say that,
here he comes.
Here we go. Yeah. Now he knows.
Did get the Overlord speed, but actually
doesn't scout the command center.
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal to know. You can kind of infer if your StarCraft sense is really good to go in there and you see the production, you're like, oh, those buildings are a little bit late. You know, maybe he did go for that third CC, but won't know 100% sure. Viking is going to push that out. This still is in the dark, as our observer is showing us time and time again. Going for his own lair and a macro hatch right now before going for any kind of fourth base. Here comes the first auto turret. Doesn't get too much to start.
Wow, just barely picking up that second drone. INnoVation scouting this game has been very, very good, whether it's just because he's going for that harass or because he's committed to pushing back these overlords. Definitely has more information for INnoVation.
Nice targeting there. Gets 3 more kills on the back of that with that Raven. Keeps the Raven alive at the same time. Free kills, everybody's favorite thing.
That is a Corporal Raven. Guess that means you have to call it Sir.
I don't think Corporals is high enough. Isn't that just one above Private?
I have no idea how all this works. Or if it applies
not 100% sure
to the StarCraft universe.
but yeah, I feel like a Raven should be a higher rank. And there comes the Spire. This is very ByuL-esque.
Indeed it is.
Loves to go for his mutas and put on that pressure with that. Go for counterattacks instead of fighting the army head-on.
He's also all the way up to 70 supply worth of workers. If you look at his total supply, it's 90 right now. So what a split for army versus worker supply. I feel like you said, this is very ByuL-esque. Very defensive, very macro-based. And what an economy to have running. It's like, oh no, he lost 5 drones and 2 queens. I think he's still going to be good as far as his economy goes for now. Now he's got to flip the switch a little bit and produce enough to defend against this first push from INnoVation.
I love this little play to come in and say, okay, you're not ready.
Yeah,
you're droning up. I guess I'll just take out the 2 queens and a bunch of creep tumors, and that's really important creep to get down, as we've seen many pushes in the late game come down that exact angle. So taking that out early is very nice. Is going to pick up and get away. Looks like nothing dies and has a follow-up coming as well. There are 9 mutas, though. Not sure if they will be out in time for the second drop, but will be helpful in the cleanup.
So what ByuL wants to do right now is force this pickup, push it away, and then find an opportunity for Mutalisks to come out and try to pick off these medevacs. Decent connection there, just pick off a few Marines at a time, but there's even more coming in, and they even could snipe this Baneling nest. They don't even have enough, ByuL doesn't have enough mutas to deal with this push. He has to pull back from the other 2 medevacs, which will invariably be coming right back in. Whoa! Big connections. INnoVation's Widow Mines, and here we go. Indeed, going to be dropping once again behind at the mineral line. Decent SimCity there, but the Mutalisks will pay off and push 2 of these medevacs out.
Still looking for that Baneling nest. It's getting really low.
Oh,
trying to snipe it, but he actually decides not to go for it. I think he may have been able to just barely get that for just the Marines.
I mean, this is INnoVation we're talking about.
Oh,
no! Oh my god! Not the sickest hit I thought it was going to be.
Well, that Widow Mine is a commander. Higher ranked than the Raven right now with 20 kills.
Indeed it is. Even more Mutalisks coming out. I don't actually see this all that often. More and more Mutalisk production out of ByuL. He was previously very well known for his Mutalisk style, but I feel like I haven't seen that out of him for a while. Whoa. More Widow Mines just barely avoided. It's a huge group of Zerglings wraps around to try to pressure this third base.
Drilling Claws coming up. Definitely will be very effective in the drops, of course, but for dealing with these pushes when they do collapse very fast, as well as getting underneath the mutas if they do happen to fly a little bit too close to the sun, or in this case, too close to the Widow Mines. ByuL trying to go for a big counterattack at the third base. This is what he loves to do. We'll see what INnoVation does have prepared. There is a wall already, but it is only supply depots, and there's not much else here.
Baneling should be able to bust right through there.
Okay.
The deterrent Thor.
Small contingency of units is going to be enough.
Really love that one Thor out of, let's see, I think it is just one Thor. Yeah, maybe another additional one on the way. Thors and Widow Mines, the mortal enemy of the Mutalisk, and so maybe those will neuter those their effectiveness. ByuL unable to get in here and really attacks INnoVation too much. INnoVation pre-splitting, even pre-prepared for anything coming his way.
Look at the Widow Mines that still didn't go off. ByuL tried multiple times to throw units ahead and try to beat those Widow Mine hits. Finally, he gets one, but still more remain in the back. You were talking about that spread. And with Drilling Claws, it's even easier to go for it. Trying to come through with the Banelings and come from behind.
Just not enough. There's still a couple of Widow Mines have yet to fire. Another big connection, but all the Widow Mines get taken out, and that will prompt INnoVation to pick up and run into the rest of his army, which is coming up.
Yeah, nice regroup here. Not a lot of Widow Mines, which is definitely worrying. I only see one in this follow-up push, but again, not too many Banelings. He's morphing 8 more. Thor is here. Second Thor is a little bit late to the party. We'll see if he can get there eventually. Here come the Banelings.
Indeed, they will roll on into the 2-armor Thor, which gets so many big hits off. Oh my god, murder on the Mutalisks. There's, I think, maybe 3 left, and even more coming out to deal with those.
The zoom in. Take your pictures, guys. There's only 2 mutas left over.
Yeah, if we had a sequel to Pokemon Snap, StarCraft Snap, that's what you're going to get a lot of points for. The death of almost every single Mutalisk.
He just couldn't deal with the continuous push of INnoVation, a story that we've said so many times for so many Zerg players, not just ByuL. Not going to be able to take out the hatchery, but taking out that big Mutaflock was gigantic, and the parade push is still making its way across.
Unable to magic box his Mutalisks to avoid the Thor splash damage. INnoVation just took almost every single one of them out. He's got Thor #2 here, as well as even more Widow Mines. I think we're being reactored out for the longest time, and there's another big hit, takes out several of the Banelings, and with a pre-split bio force behind it, there's just not enough Zerg here to defend what seems to be an endless INnoVation push.
More Banelings, though, are morphing in. Nice split here from ByuL. This is going to be his last shot. Another good concave here for INnoVation, though, is not going to do it for ByuL. INnoVation will have enough stuff. Down go the last of the Mutas. And down will go our Zerg buddy. 3-3's about to finish up, by the way.
Oh, there's the scan just to make sure there's no hidden bases, and I think it's time, Valdez, as all good StarCraft casters are taught to do, to see that not only is the supply a little bit low, but so are ByuL's hopes of winning that game.
Yeah, you know, there were some moments in that game, you know, the counterattack that he attempted to do at the third base, the hold that was looking close for a while, but then that one critical moment, as you mentioned, where he just flew everything in and he was a little bit not patient enough, right? He flew it straight into the Thor that was blocking the ramp for the Widow Mines behind it and all the bio behind it as well. So ByuL just didn't really have an answer. He had some nice flanks before that, but no flanks after that.
No, there was in fact nothing but full frontal assault after that, and it was a little bit rough to watch. Just lots of Zerg running into Widow Mines, and then perfectly split stim Marines and Marauders after that. INnoVation just mixing in like those perfect amount of Thors, like right as he lost the first one, it got the job done, and it had his Thor buddy for backup immediately after that. Perfect defense against the Mutalisks back at home. INnoVation just looking really solid, and ByuL continuing to show, you know, he gets his strategy done, but it's just not up to the level that INnoVation requires to hold it close. And so INnoVation will take a 1-0 lead in this series and send us into game #2 on Overgrowth.
Overgrowth was one of the matches where ByuL had a little bit more success with the style that he refuses to change up.
Nope.
I know he's going to play the same style in this one, unless he really just is going to throw something wacky at us. So we are all ready and set to go, guys. If you think ByuL is going to take this one, definitely hit us up and tell us what you think about that. I would be very curious to see your guys' opinions about this matchup, if you felt like ByuL had any chance in this one.
Well, 20 likes on Facebook said he did. 120 said that maybe INnoVation was going to take this. And I'm leaning that way in the after hours with Wolf and Valdez. You guys both lean this way, and we'll see whether or not INnoVation is able to bop the ByuL Zergling out of Wolf's hand, just like he did in that show.
Well, that is the hope here for INnoVation, as he's sitting at 3-3, really needs this win to have his hopes of playoffs redeemed. So let's jump into game #2 on Overgrowth. Here we go, game #2, down in the bottom left. The blue Terran looking to win his last 3, make it into playoffs. It is INnoVation.
His opponent in the purple. As the Zerg, this is ByuL. Map is Overgrowth. Your trivia for the day is that this map was created by East Windy. There you go.
What's the description, though?
Of Overgrowth?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not the
I thought you had that
day.
deep level trivia, Rapid.
Indeed, I do not. My
Maybe
trivia
next
level
time.
is just as deep as I want it to go.
Okay.
And not any further. Spawning pool down before hatchery, so could look for a lot of aggression here from ByuL. See whether or not he gets out there to drop his hatchery, or if this is just going to be the super sickest of rushes.
I mean, it looks a little bit safer, you know, it does get up a little bit later, and he does go for the later hatchery as well. I think he's just worried about INnoVation getting, I don't want to call it lazy, but kind of like, okay, let's get this over with, where he's like, okay, I mean, I killed him on game 1, it wasn't close, let's go into this small 2-player map and just proxy him, and ByuL wasn't having any of that. Unfortunately, INnoVation is playing standarder than ever, and is just going for Reaper Expand.
Indeed he is, and there's the expansion aforementioned. Back at home, I mean, this is Gas Pool, so could be super aggressive. I want to see that switch up from ByuL to say, look, I have my style. It has worked for me in the past. It's not working anymore. Time to change things up. Speed is on the way. That hatchery is just about halfway done. Let's see what the option is to go for. I feel like ByuL has shown remarkable innovation when it comes to his aggressive builds, but maybe right when it counts, he doesn't go for them. I don't know. I would like to see a little bit of something different because it feels a little bit arduous watching ByuL try the same strategy over and over again and have it never pay off.
Yeah, this is just one way to get your Lings around the Reaper, especially with the path that ByuL took, went all the way over on the left side, and is going to be looking to potentially even cancel the CC for now. There is one Marine. Going to come in here and target that down. The SCV still building, going to get one of these Lings on top of it. And now you can just focus that down and should delay that CC by a nice bit.
Yeah, forced to pull quite a few SCVs here. You know, this wasn't the early Zergling rush, like a full committal to the all-in, but it's getting a lot of damage done. It did delay the command center. It's inside the base, now further delaying what is, I guess, the starport right there. And in the mineral line, INnoVation will be able to deal with this. SCVs tend to be pretty good at fending off Zerglings, but not, you know, impervious. Few will go down, and this Hellion not across the map killing ByuL's drones. It's back in his base, and exactly like we talked about, more Zergling pressure on the way.
He keeps that supply depot down, and I feel like that's actually on purpose for now, because he wants to let in some Lings so he can take them out with the Hellion and the Reaper before the other 2 Hellions come back. He will be just fine. I was actually kind of surprised that ByuL continued with the Lings. I feel like he could have just played a little bit more greedy and gotten that 3rd base down, begin to saturate that, but thought he saw an opening, wanted to potentially put on some more damage, but none did really come out.
I love the fake cloak here from INnoVation. He's building a Viking out of the starport, and I think this is just to bait maybe the Overlord into hanging out on top of the starport, thinking, hey, you know, Banshee's coming out, I'm safe. No, it's a Viking. Surprise! That is 1 dead Overlord, and it's soon to be 2 if he doesn't move the 1 by the natural.
Yeah, he didn't get that Overlord speed, and he's just letting this 1 die. The other one is not moving. Perhaps he's already just given it away. Not remaking any more Overlords right now, even though he's supply blocked. Perhaps he's out of larva for the moment.
A lot of times you'll see the Terran cancel the cloak right there, but he's going to let it finish and follow up with the Banshee after the Viking.
Yeah, it's like those deep mind games, you know. You push away that Overlord, and you already have the cloak research on the way, so the Zerg might say, hey, he's probably going to cancel that, but, you know, let's be safe instead, and sometimes the Terrans even commit to it anyway. Unfortunately, ByuL is going to be safe and put down a couple of spores to deal with this. That Viking is getting close, but I think as long as the Queens do defend the Overlord, it should be fine.
And he's not going to commit to going inside the base, just looking to snipe out any greedy Overlords outside. I think there is maybe 1. Nope, that is the Banshee. Heading out across the map. Will be scouted out here, but runs right by the Queens. Okay, I guess that's one way to make it happen. But like you said earlier, plenty of Spore Crawlers.
How many kills can he get? He's going to get 1. There's that one drone. He's like, please take me with you. INnoVation's like, no.
Running after it is like, no.
I don't want to kill you. You can chill over there. I don't care. Look at how much damage he's getting. This is actually a little bit much when you do commit to 3 spores and a bunch of queens. He does have 6 queens in total. Getting even more damage in the main as the queens are not in position. 5 in total as the cloak energy does run out. And even a scout of the Spire. So INnoVation knows everything that's going on and was even able to get a nice bit of damage done with that 1 Banshee.
probably not a mystery that the Spire was on the way. I mean, this is ByuL that we're talking about. That drone finally figures out ByuL, or INnoVation is not going to take him with him.
That poor drone, man. He just wanted to be taken out by the Terran army. He wanted to be witnessed. INnoVation wasn't having it.
Forgot his chrome spray paint today.
Yeah. Pretty unfortunate, but like in INnoVation's position once again, you know, his infantry upgrades are a little bit later comparatively, as he did only get one tech lab, but his economy is really booming. He's got that third CC out in time. He will try to put on some damage with drop instead of a straight up push for now. And he's really just keeping ByuL back in his base, very defensive, still no fourth, just that Spire tech that was scouted. And ByuL didn't even make anything out of that Spire just yet. He's making only Lings for now.
Could be the transition. He does have 1-1 on the way. It's only about halfway to completion and won't be done in time for this first little prod from INnoVation out onto this creep spreaded map. Sprud.
Sprud.
That's the past tense of spread.
Exactly.
I figured it out. Pushes the creep back a little bit, but actually needs to be a little bit mindful of those Marines. Trading a Marine for a Baneling, probably pretty good, but already ready for an attempted expand.
That Viking cleared a path for the Banshee to go in to follow up, you know, after the damage, but he actually is just keeping it nearby the fourth base and saying, okay, if you're going to run anything over and try to poke my third, I'm just going to deny you. You know, if you want to morph any Banelings like you did in game number 1, it's a very common Zerg strategy, and it seems that INnoVation is really firing on all gears tonight. It seems like he's very clean in his play. Very enjoyable to watch for sure.
Lots of creep being taken out here. Great job with that consistent denial. The Mutas, though, are A, scouted, B, pushed back, and C, I don't know about the committal again to Mutalisk. I feel like INnoVation is more than on top of that in game number 1. Now, catching these medevacs is a big victory for ByuL, and this could be the deviation from game 1 where they didn't work out to game 2 where they are going to have some success. However, back behind that drop that was forced out in the middle is another drop that looks for a cancel on this fourth.
You can pull it back, but look at this. ByuL running into the third base. There's not enough stuff here. Widowmine will get a nice hit. But still, the Mutas remain, and a bunch of Lings at that third base doing critical damage. 9 SCVs to start is not going to commit.
Still, even worker counts, even after those SCV losses, and ByuL now pulling back to try to secure this fourth base. The Thors will come out, though, and even though they feel a little later for INnoVation this game, which has forced him to take a little bit of loss, he will have the Thor out eventually, and that should be enough to deter some of these Mutalisks. Getting the drilling claws as well. Always a big fan of sneaking that upgrade in at some point during the game. Makes these Widow Mines a lot more effective. Already several of them spread out across the map looking for those Mutalisks.
Well, he does have one turret over here. That's not enough if it does get focused down. No immediate repair. Widowmine just casually getting a bunch of damage as ByuL is looking for a push at the same time. Trying to draw some units into the main. Already gets 10 SCVs, still hanging around actually. 12 in total, 13, and gets away with most of it. INnoVation knows this push is coming at his third, is looking to defend. Wow,
behind this, ByuL not only adding on more Mutalisks, but going up for another air upgrade, getting +2 on those Mutas as well. We've always seen this upgrade-heavy, Muta-heavy style from ByuL. As long as he doesn't run it into the Thors this time around, I think he'll be okay. There are still lots of Marauders coming out from INnoVation. None of those do shoot up. The Widow Mines, though, are kind of the question mark. Do they get good hits? Taking out that Queen up front. The Thor coming in, added into this army. How effective will it be?
You can see that something sparked in INnoVation's mind. He's like, no, I'm not going to just continue defending. It's time to attack. And so he gathers all of his units and goes for a big attack at the ramp, but a bunch of Banelings were just warped in, or rather morphed in, I should say.
At least 25 Banelings run into that Thor. They'll take it out. Maybe that's all he needs. Back at home, one bunker holds strong until it doesn't. Just strong enough to push those Zerglings back. And Thor number 2 Now coming forward, Valdez. There's not 25 more Banelings left to run into that one.
Yeah, and still more Widow Mines come out. He has 5 in total. And I love what INnoVation does with just a couple of Marauders in the front. Always groups them up and snipes Baneling by Baneling. It really puts the Zerg on a timer that says, either I'm going to snipe 5 of your Banelings or you're going to attack me right now when I want you to.
Here we go, running in again and trying to pre-split ahead of those Banelings coming out. They're all going to go down, and no matter how many mutas you have, ByuL ball persists on the ground for INnoVation. He's got a parade push coming up behind it.
There were 6 Widow Mines on the map, but none of them were in that fight. I think maybe one of them was. But now he's got them split. This is the really scary moment. Already the morphing Banelings are being picked off. There's another Thor in here. The splits are good. Here comes ByuL. There's not enough Banelings. All of them can get taken out. Unfortunately, not the best split there from INnoVation, though, as a bunch of his Marines go down, too.
Oh, no. Oh, no. He's carried the Thor right over the Widow Mines. Whoa! Big hits. And another one to land. The Thor does get taken out, but these mutas are very damaged. It looks like for now, INnoVation's push has been unpushed.
Yes.
That's what it's been.
He unpushed the button. And, yeah, it really was just that big hit.
Burrow the Widow Mines, Burrow the Widow Mines. No, he's going to keep pushing.
That the Marines did get hit by all the Banelings, and that was really nice. You can see INnoVation is really trying to force this. The drawing claws! Oh, boy. Another huge one on top of those mutas. But again, you got to be careful not to go too hard, INnoVation, especially with that parade push.
I'm glad our observer is pointing this out. Not 1, but 2 bases about to mine out for INnoVation. ByuL has successfully expanded to not only his 4th, but now a 5th coming up at the gold, and INnoVation will be forced to float his main out just to try to get up another base of his. I love the position ByuL's in right now. Maybe not the best execution, but he's stabilized. He's got a great economy behind this. And INnoVation has taken decent losses. His Thor count still, I think, at 1. Another one coming up behind it, but those are very expensive on this weakened economy.
Yeah, it definitely is. And he does have 2 of them out on the map. It will be enough to deal with the low amount of mutas that ByuL has. Only 13 in total to deal with.
14 kills on that Widow Mine.
But 13 mutas against 2 Thors and 7 Widow Mines is going to be pretty rough. Really needs to rely on his Banelings, but only has 6 out and is only morphing 10. So need to see some AoE out of ByuL here.
Pushing back this creep spread and putting the Widow Mines in the front. Looks like ByuL wants to go for either a counterattack or trying to stop this 4th base from coming up. And I think this is the correct play from ByuL. As long as he hits this economy, there's not going to be a way for INnoVation to come back in this game. 1 Thor, will it hit the big clump of Mutalisks? No, it will get off a couple of shots. It's not enough protection here behind. And INnoVation will lose his 4th base and a sizable chunk of his economy.
Yeah, it keeps that orbital alive, thankfully, but needs to deal with this massive Zerg army that's on his front doorstep. He's trying to run all the way back, but it's taken a while. All those SCVs very misplaced and not mining.
There's even SCVs with INnoVation's army. He might have gone for like a hard push there, but he's going to have to go for a hard retreat instead. A very hard one, as it will be difficult to deal with this giant flock of mutas that's right over his production.
Does finally get back and saves the majority of his production. ByuL, though, at the same time, did lose 2 of his only mining bases, the gold, the 4th, and this Thor, though, needs to get in there, try to pick it up. Doesn't look like he wants to sacrifice a medevac with it, so just holds back.
Too bad those medevacs can't pick up from 8 range away. That'd be really cool.
That would be pretty nice.
Yeah. Imagine.
Maybe next patch.
Maybe one day Terran will receive the buffs it needs.
The armies right now are actually very much in favor of INnoVation. The supplies look good for ByuL, but he has so many drones that are not doing anything. That is hilarious. But it's just like...
Imagine the correct choice being to run your Zerglings back into the Widow Mine so they all die. What a world. Right, and I think it's good to point out, Valdez, that a lot of the army for INnoVation is spread out across the map in a lot of these Widow Mines. So once they all get consolidated, that's where you start to see these big numbers coalescing. But as great as these fights have been for ByuL, in the end, INnoVation's standing army is very, very strong. Oh, I love the Burrow mixed in for ByuL, trying to get just that little bit of extra value.
Yeah, it's like the Zerg version of Win Behind Dark Shrine. Win Behind Burrow Banelings.
Oh my god. Dun, dun. Dun, dun, right across the parade push. Oh, he's going to wait to unburrow them on the Thor.
Nah, just Decides not to, I suppose. Coming back here, those two Mines. ByuL might not be paying attention. We actually don't even get to see what happened over there as the Mines.
It looks like INnoVation had just enough to hold back at home. This is the mining base. He tries to burrow the drones.
One scan would do it, but he's going to take out the hatchery, which is even more valuable right now.
Okay,
ByuL needs a hatchery to mine from. He needs it.
He doesn't have one. The fourth was taken out earlier. The fifth base is up, but it's not being mined from. A lift up and a drop in the main. INnoVation finds purchase, and it's too expensive for ByuL.
I was actually questioning that drop on the main. I'm saying, like, oh, he's going to get caught by the mutas. But after all, it was the right choice to make because all those ground units he was able to get away from. And he's pulling these units out of position.
Oh, great damage being done there. INnoVation gets into the main, gets out again, and is going to be hitting the fourth and fifth bases as well.
Yeah, there's just no mining here for ByuL. He's making 3 mutas now. He loses his last hatchery.
INnoVation, how does he do it without even trying? What a player, what a play. Getting and taking out every single one of ByuL's mining hatcheries. Look at that, that's it. That's all of his mining.
Yeah, that one patch right now is
no income.
That is the mining.
Plus 200 minerals a minute.
Yeah. And the Thors are so critical. The majority of ByuL's army now is the mutas. He does have 13, and here they go down as they run in. Oh, this is going to be the last stand for ByuL as the Banelings do run in as well. Nice micro. Here come back the Marines. GG is called. INnoVation takes the 2-0 victory.
He does indeed bop the ByuL Zergling right out of Wolf's hand for the 2-0. I feel like that's expected, but definitely not the game 2 that we expected. ByuL hung in there for so long, even pushing back INnoVation over and over again. And as you look and see almost tears in his eyes, this is what we call the INnoVation effect.
It's definitely frustration, where he's like, oh, I just don't even know what to do. He's talking to his buddy on the right. He's like, oh man, he got me again. I don't know what to say. That game looked a lot like the one in Season 1. I think actually a very similar play happened where it looked like ByuL was going to get him with the counterattack. And he was very close. He took out so many of the SCVs in very similar fashion at one of INnoVation's only mining bases, but at the same time, ByuL lost 2 of his mining hatcheries, and INnoVation was able to get back in time. The mutas weren't strong enough to take a straight-up fight, and INnoVation held on, very much like today. So I guess history repeats itself tonight at SSL.
Yeah, I mean, ByuL's icon in SSL, the player icon, is a Mutalisk. He's very well known for that style, and he had great Muta play today, even taking out INnoVation's Thors, never letting that critical mass really build up, and didn't take those hits on the Mutas like he did in game number 1, but inevitably the macro from INnoVation, that Terran machine just chugged a little bit too long, and you even saw halfway through the game, INnoVation's bases started to dry up and run out of minerals. He just had just enough and was able to secure one more while he took out ByuL's bases, and in the end, the damage did it.
Yeah, so kind of what we were expecting, right? The boppening of the Zergling out of Wolf's hand definitely did happen, the 2-0 victory. The next matchup we are going to have is going to be Hero versus Stats, definitely one of the big ones for tonight, a PvP. How are you feeling about this one, Rapid?
I feel like Stats, especially when it comes to PvP, is kind of unparalleled. Hero, uncharacteristically lackluster results in SSL. I believe he's in second to last place, third to last, I think. Way down there. Ugh. And that's definitely not what we expect from Hero when he destroyed SSL Challenge, auto-promoted to Premier last season, and now... Hi guys, who says in the camera?
His buddy's coming too.
We got guy number 2. We got guy
girl
number 3.
Number 1 and
guy
girl number 2.
We're just going to cut to a commercial break. We'll come back with Hero and Stats so we can at least watch some PvP.